Hi, I'm Hannah from the Police Digital Security Centre, and today I am going to provide some tips on how to reduce your chances of falling victim to phishing emails. Just a breakdown of who we are for those of you who do not know. The Police Digital Security Centre is a not-for-profit organisation owned by the Police Crime Prevention Initiatives, working in partnership with government, academia, law enforcement and industry. Our aim is to help businesses reduce their risk to cybercrime and fraud by changing the notion that cybersecurity has to be complicated. Many cyber threats can be avoided by taking a few simple steps that are cost-effective solutions and even free. You can even use these skills at home. We can all play our part in keeping our working environment safe. All of our advice is in line with the government's National Cyber Security Centre. So what is phishing? A phishing email will typically imitate an organisation or person you know or trust, incorporating social engineering techniques to manipulate the recipient to take an action. Another word for fraud is social engineering, and the reason why cybercriminals are successful in duping victims is due to social engineering, which is essentially manipulating victims into actioning a request by either clicking a link, opening an attachment, paying an invoice, submitting a form, providing credentials, sending bank details, revealing personal information. Just an example of a case study demonstrating how a spear phishing email can escalate into further attacks. It's the time of the year when a private school in the southeast of England was accepting applications for new students, so cybercriminals sent a malware-infected Word document to the admissions department. Thinking it was a completed application form, the administrative assistant opened the document, which activated the malware and allowed the hackers to take control of the network. The cybercriminals decided to send emails from the admissions account to all of the parents of the prospective students, offering a discount on fees and for the money to be sent to their bank account. Making use of the offer, parents paid the hackers £180,000. The school was only alerted to the hack at an open day when a parent remarked of the offer that the school did not endorse. So the school sent an email to all of the affected parents informing them of the hack, saying they do not offer a discount on fees and that the full amount should be paid to their correct bank details. However, the school had not fully removed the hackers from the network, so the hackers were able to intercept the email and change the bank details again to their own. So the parents paid a further £70,000 to the hackers. So have a think, if you were in this situation, what would you do? So how do you avoid falling victim to these scams? There's poor grammar and spelling, which could indicate the email does not originate from the country you are expecting it to come from. The email address is copied to appear authentic, but it is really coming from somewhere else. Hover over or click the sender email address to reveal where the email really came from. Sometimes it is obvious and it will come from a Gmail account. Other times it will look very similar to an email address you know. For example, in PDSC.com, the O could change to a 0, or they might have .co.uk or policedsc.com, or even policeds.com. So you need a keen eye for detail to identify whether anything is out of the ordinary. It requires action from you, like clicking a link, opening an attachment, or something similar. There might be a sense of urgency, but remember, nothing is too important that you do not have time to verify the request. Even a time limit of 1 hour is enough time for a Google search or phone call. Most reputable organisations will give you plenty of time to respond. Images that contain a text box can contain malware or an embedded link. Do not click on them. Low-quality versions of recognisable logos can indicate they took a screenshot of the image and are not from the company they claim to be from. Too good to be true offers. Did you win the lottery without playing? Is there a fantastic discount that is too good to miss with limited time on the offer? These are all to entice you into clicking on a link to provide information. Out of the ordinary. Fraudsters also tailor their scams to our routines, but if these emails are not addressed to you personally, the tone of the email is inconsistent, it arrives from someone different, or there is an odd request or change in instruction, such as changing bank details, this can be a sign the request is not genuine. Likewise, emails could come out of the blue, such as a request for an invoice to be paid that you are not responsible for, or is not when you are expecting it. As an example, this generic phishing email is pretending to be from the Royal Bank of Scotland. In addition to the other red flags, another sign of a scam is that the email is not addressed to you specifically. It will be very generic. And then you can also see here the other signs you have gone through, such as poor grammar and spelling, requires action from you, and a sense of urgency. So make sure to think before you click. There is no harm in calling the sender using your usual contact methods or finding reputable details online. Don't reply back to the email or use the contact details provided in the email. It is better to use a different form of communication in case the email account is hacked. Seek advice from your friends, family and colleagues. They may be able to spot signs of a phishing email that you have missed or received something similar. Don't panic if you do click. It may be that the link takes you to a website that is asking you to complete a form, make a purchase or provide login details, and unless you submit something to the page, no further harm is done. However, it is still worth investigating and keeping an eye on whether malware has been installed by running antivirus. Always change login details if you think they have been compromised. Encourage your staff to report scams and whether they have fallen victim to their line manager so you can proactively respond and make sure the business remains secure from threats. The quicker you react, the quicker you can fix any problems. Cybercriminals can sit on the network gathering information going unnoticed for a long time, so you'll want to identify and remove them as soon as possible. Sharing experiences of fraud with others means others are less likely to fall victim to the same scam, protecting your business. We are all human at the end of the day, and so you want to make it a positive thing that fraud is reported rather than any repercussions. Naturally, if it is intentionally sabotaged and you have provided training as much as possible and people are still ignoring such assistance, then you should consider the threat that they have on the business. But without providing advice and training, you shouldn't expect your staff to know how to spot phishing. A key obstacle when it comes to emails is trust. When we are customer facing or correspond with a lot of suppliers, our job is to communicate in a timely fashion and action requests accordingly for good customer service and to fulfill contractual agreements. And this trust is a two-way street. Your customers and suppliers also need to be confident in who they are communicating with. This is where anti-spoofing techniques come in, such as Sender Policy Framework, SPF, Domain Keys Identified Mail, DKIM, and Domain-Based Message Authentication Reporting and Conformance, DMARC, as they analyze an email's integrity to determine how the recipient's inbox will filter the message. If you have your own email domain, having all three in place prevents someone other than those you approve of from sending emails on your behalf. For example, I will be unable to create an email with Hannah at your domain. You set the rules so that should such an email be sent, it will go straight into the recipient's spam folder or is quarantined, preventing the recipient from receiving the email straight into their inbox. This provides trust between you and the recipient, and if you encourage your suppliers to do the same, you create a chain of trust, building your reputation. These are free to implement, and the Global Cyber Alliance will help you through the process. Emails with gmail.com, yahoo.com, etc. all have these anti-spoofing techniques in place by default. A few more tips. Add a filter block system that will stop incoming phishing emails from your side. Most email services are able to identify potential spam, but you can also set your own rules to block unwanted emails. Encourage your staff to report any phishing emails they come across to their line manager or IT team. This way, any threats can be dealt with quickly to protect your business. Sharing these experiences also means that others will not fall victim to the same scam. But in any circumstance, whether at work or at home, report any fraud you come across to Action Fraud. They are a national reporting body that collates this information together so they can identify current patterns and trends used by cybercriminals. This can help them to provide guidance to help others from falling victim to the same thing. Once you have reported a phishing email, delete it. There are several training tools you can make use of. Third-party organisations will send simulated phishing campaigns on your behalf, so you can identify how savvy your staff are at spotting phishing and whether anyone is falling for it. This allows them to fall for a phishing email in a safe environment and they can learn from their mistakes. This is not to embarrass or trick anyone out, and staff should not feel ashamed or targeted. It's purely for training purposes. From the results, the staff will then be trained on how to spot phishing emails, and over time, they will improve their vigilance. Though effective, third parties do come at a cost, and so there are free training tools you can use, such as using our phishing email checklist, or this free Google phishing quiz, which is an interactive tool asking the player to identify whether they think it's a phishing or genuine email, and walking through ways of spotting the signs of phishing. Maintain contact and stay engaged with your team via email or chat platform to keep in touch of important issues such as phishing emails. It is important to keep the team notified and to warn anyone else of the potential risk. If you receive a potential phishing email from a person or organisation, phone and speak to a known and reputable contact to verify the email. A tip to create strong passwords is using 3 random words. As you can see here, as you add special characters and numbers, the password increases in strength. The longer and stronger the password, the longer it will take a computer to crack it. Password managers can help you with the many passwords you have to remember by storing them for you. This way, all online accounts have a strong and different password. Password managers will also create strong passwords for you, so you do not have to think up new passwords. Again, the more passwords we have to create, the less creative we become, and find ourselves stuck using similar words that are easily guessed by cybercriminals. This is why password expiration dates are less effective, because you start off using a password, but everyone has to keep thinking of a new one, which ends up just changing a single number or character, which makes the password no more secure than it already was, and if anything, weakens it. Use two-step verification to lock your password manager and all online accounts from access, should a cybercriminal manage to crack your password. To safeguard your most important personal data and information, back them up to an external hard drive or cloud-based storage system to avoid any losses and allows you to recover quickly after an incident. It is recommended to use both cloud and hard drive storage methods. Keep the backups separate from the network. Make sure backups are secure with a strong password and two-step verification, and make sure backups are encrypted at rest, which means while it is being stored, and in transit, when you upload and download files, etc. Encryption prevents anyone unauthorized from viewing your content and information. We have provided step-by-step guidance on how to update the software for popular operating systems and to enable automatic updates so you never have to remember to check for them each time. Cybercriminals are not always targeting you as a business, but security flaws in the software. To fix these flaws, manufacturers release patches in the form of updates. So to avoid the chance of being targeted by an attack, Update your software as soon as it is available. So you've clicked on the link, now what? Don't panic, again it may be that nothing has come from clicking on the link, but continue to investigate and remain vigilant of any signs of malware. Run scans with antivirus and anti-malware. Disconnect your device from your Wi-Fi to stop the spread of any potential malware, keeping it contained on the infected device. Report the incident internally, inform colleagues, and then report it to Action Fraud, followed by deleting the email to remove the threat and accidental actions in the future. We have put together a phishing email checklist to help you remember what to look for and identify potential threats. This is available on our website. In summary, stop and think. Look for the red flags. Verify the sender. Seek advice and report it internally to your team. Don't panic if you do click. Train staff to spot common signs of scams. Have a strong password policy. Back up your data and update your software. Install anti-spoofing controls such as DMARC and report it to Action Fraud and the National Cybersecurity Centre. The NCSC have certified organisations that can help create incident response and disaster recovery plans. Take 5 is a national campaign that offers straightforward and impartial advice to help everyone protect themselves from financial fraud. This includes email deception and phone-based scams, as well as online fraud, particularly where criminals impersonate trusted organisations. They have some useful resources as well. Our website at PDSC.com has free resources for you to use and share. The Metropolitan Police provide little guide booklets and videos to raise awareness of fraud. Thank you for joining me today. Do check out our resources at PDSC.com and we look forward to seeing you again next time.